Welcome to Reddit Psychology Tales, where real stories meet the human mind. Some relationships end with an argument. Some end with silence. But mine ended with a tiny blinking red light hidden under our bed. A recorder that told me my marriage had been over long before I knew it. Found out my wife has been recording all our fights for a court case I didn't know we were in. I found the recorder by accident. It wasn't some movie-level discovery. No dramatic music, no sudden scream. It was a normal afternoon, a stupid argument about nothing, and I dropped my phone while bending to pick up a sock. The phone slid under the bed, and when I reached to grab it, my fingers touched something that wasn't supposed to be there. A small black device with a blinking red light. I pulled it out, confused. It looked like one of those cheap audio recorders you buy online. I assumed it belonged to my wife, maybe for her classes or work notes. She always misplaced things. It wouldn't be unusual. I walked to the living room and showed it to her. "Hey, did you drop this under the bed?" She froze. Not the freeze of fear, or shock, or guilt. It was the freeze of someone whose entire secret life just got dragged into the open. "What were you doing under the bed?" she asked. Her voice didn't shake. Her eyes didn't blink. She just stared at me like I'd crossed into a part of her mind I was never supposed to see. "I dropped my phone," I said. "What is this?" She opened her mouth, then closed it. Then she walked past me, took the recorder from my hand, and said only one sentence. "It's for my safety." Safety from what? We argued, yes. We had problems, yes. But I had never laid a hand on her, never threatened her, never even raised my voice in ways that crossed into abusive territory. Or, at least, that's what I believed. She went into the bedroom and slammed the door. I stood there in the hallway with a pit forming in my stomach. Something was wrong. Not just wrong, catastrophically wrong. I knocked on the door. "Why are you recording our conversations?" No answer. "Are you okay? Did something happen? Please talk to me." Silence. When she finally opened the door an hour later, her face was blank, expressionless, cold. "I don't want to fight," she said. "Let's leave it." But I couldn't leave it. Something inside me whispered that this recorder was not a small thing. It wasn't a one-day lapse of judgment. It wasn't curiosity or paranoia. It was preparation. Over the next week, everything changed. She stopped speaking to me unless it was absolutely necessary. Stopped eating with me, stopped sitting next to me, stopped sharing any part of her life. I'd wake up, and she'd already be gone. I'd come home, and she'd be in the kitchen, headphones in, ignoring me like I was a stranger. It didn't feel like a marriage anymore. It felt like a waiting room. Like she was waiting for something, preparing for something. And every day I felt more and more like a ghost inside my own home. One night, I finally broke. I couldn't sleep. I walked to the kitchen for water and saw her on a call on her laptop, whispering urgently. She didn't hear me enter. "Yes, I have the recordings. No, he hasn't found the rest. I'll send everything tomorrow. Yes, I'm sure." My heart beat silent. Not fast, not panicked, just silent. When she saw me standing behind her, she shut the laptop so fast the sound echoed. "Who were you talking to?" I asked. Her expression finally cracked. She panicked. She grabbed her phone, her laptop, ran to the bedroom and locked the door. This time I didn't knock. I just sat on the floor outside, numb. The woman inside that room, was she my wife Or was she someone who had already left me months ago? The next morning, I called a lawyer. Not because I wanted to file anything, but because I wanted to know what the hell was happening. I gave him the situation, the recorder, the whispering, the secrecy. My lawyer listened quietly and then said something that made my blood run cold. She's building a case. What case? A case to separate from you. I laughed. Not a happy laugh, a broken laugh. That's impossible, I said. We fight, but it's nothing serious. We're fine. Do you know how courts work? Do you know how easy it is to twist normal arguments into a narrative of emotional harm or verbal abuse when you have selective recordings? Selective. That word hit me like a bullet. I replayed every argument we had in the last few months, every moment of frustration, every raised voice, every time I walked away or sighed or said something careless. Not abusive, not threatening, but imperfect, human, and in the wrong hands. Dangerous, the lawyer said. My wife now had evidence. The world would see me as the abusive one. She has more devices, the lawyer said. No one uses just one. That night, I searched the house. Not in a manic way, in a quiet, methodical, heartbreaking way, like a man digging through his own grave. I found 3 more recording devices. One behind the living room plant, one under the couch, one inside the decorative bowl near our bed. 4 devices, recording us, recording me. Who was she sending them to? Her lawyer? Her therapist? Her family? The court? I confronted her again. She didn't deny it, didn't explain it, didn't say a word. She only whispered, "You don't know what it's like to live with you." That sentence destroyed me, because it wasn't anger, it wasn't hate, it was conviction. She truly believed she was the victim. She truly believed she was endangered. She truly believed I was someone capable of hurting her. And I started questioning myself. Had I been blind? Was I actually the monster in this story? I went to a therapist myself, not to defend myself, not to build evidence, to understand. I played her one of the recordings, a normal fight about finances. My wife accusing me of not understanding her stress. Me telling her I felt alone and unsupported. Both voices raised but controlled. The therapist listened and said calmly, "This is a normal but unhealthy argument. Not abuse, not harm, not grounds for fear. But if someone wants to build a narrative, they can." That sentence confirmed everything. My wife wasn't afraid. She was preparing. Preparing to leave. Preparing to win. Preparing to rewrite our marriage into something darker. 2 weeks later, I received a legal notice. She had filed for a separation on grounds of emotional distress, verbal cruelty, psychological intimidation, all based on months of recorded evidence. Evidence taken without my knowledge. Evidence shaped by angles I never saw. Evidence that had been edited, trimmed, and curated.
When I confronted her with the notice in hand, she looked at me without blinking, without shaking, without emotion. She said, "I did what I had to do." "What does that mean?" I asked. "It means I'm done protecting you." I felt the ground leave beneath me. Protecting me? From what? From myself? From the truth? From the idea that I was the villain of her story? Weeks passed. Court sessions, depositions, recorded audio played in rooms filled with strangers, people judging me based on fragments, sighs, pauses, moments stripped of context. But here's the twist that even she didn't expect. Her therapist, the person she had been sending recordings to for months, testified that none of the audio showed abuse, only mutual conflict, normal marital discord. And then, the therapist said something that changed the entire trajectory. She began recording after a panic attack caused by an unrelated trauma. She believed she needed evidence to feel safe, not because she was unsafe, but because she couldn't trust her own perception. Her world had broken long before she started recording, and I had become the easiest target for her fear. Not the cause, the symptom. Her case fell apart. The court dismissed her claims. We were granted a no-fault separation. She moved out the next day. No goodbye, no closure, no explanation, just silence. Now, months later, I still find myself listening for the click of a recorder, still catching myself lowering my voice out of habit, still wondering if somewhere, somehow, someone is listening. Because when you find out the person you love has been documenting your every flaw, every moment of weakness, every fight, not to fix things, not to understand you, but to use against you, you never fully feel alone again. You feel watched, judged, measured. I wasn't in a marriage. I was in a court case I didn't know existed. And the worst part? I'm still not sure which version of me she truly believed in. The man I actually was, or the man she needed me to be, so her story made sense.